Could your investment in the Iraqi Dinar or Vietnamese Dong pay off in 2025? Here's the real story. Welcome back to my channel Iraqi Dinar RV. Have you ever imagined waking up one day to discover that a small investment has multiplied into a fortune? It's a dream many investors are chasing in 2025, especially those who've placed their bets on the Iraqi Dinar, IQD, or Vietnamese Dong, VND. These two currencies continue to generate buzz online. But the big question remains, is the hype real, or are people falling into a trap built on speculation and false promises? Today, we'll break down the facts, examine what's really happening with these currencies, and help you decide if they're worth your time and money, or just another financial fantasy. The Iraqi Dinar, recovery or illusion? The Iraqi dinar has intrigued investors ever since the early 2000s. Following the US-led invasion and the fall of Saddam Hussein's regime, Iraq's economy went into freefall. The value of the dinar collapsed, and it became one of the weakest currencies in the world. However, many investors saw a glimmer of opportunity. With Iraq sitting on one of the world's largest proven oil reserves, the theory was simple. Once stability returns and oil revenues pick up, the dinar could recover, and perhaps even revalue. That belief has fueled years of speculation and investment, especially among those hoping for a big reset. In 2025, Iraq is showing signs of slow progress. The government has made some efforts to modernize its banking infrastructure, reduce its dependence on US dollars, and open new trade deals. Oil production remains strong, and talks about rebuilding continue. But here's the catch. Economic strength alone doesn't guarantee a currency revaluation. Iraq still faces serious hurdles: corruption, political instability, outdated financial systems, and security concerns. Without addressing these core issues, a massive overnight currency surge is highly unlikely. The Vietnamese Dong, a rising star in Asia. Vietnam tells a very different story. Unlike Iraq, Vietnam has enjoyed consistent economic growth over the past decade. Known for its manufacturing strength and booming export sector, especially in electronics, textiles, and agriculture, Vietnam is becoming an economic powerhouse in Southeast Asia. The Dong remains undervalued in global terms, and that's caught the eye of investors. Some speculate that the VND could eventually strengthen significantly, either through gradual revaluation or due to improved global trade standing. In 2025, Vietnam continues to attract foreign investment, modernize its digital and financial systems, and foster international partnerships with countries like the US, South Korea, and Japan. Inflation is stable, the economy is diversified, and the country is viewed as a reliable emerging market. While the VND is unlikely to experience a dramatic overnight change, a gradual upward adjustment in value is more feasible than the kind of dramatic spike some expect from the Iraqi dinar. Debunking the overnight riches myth. One of the biggest problems with the IQD and VND dream is misinformation. Online forums, self-proclaimed currency insiders, and even some shady dealers spread stories of secret revaluations and contacts in central banks promising windfalls. You've probably heard lines like, "My source says the revaluation is happening next week. You have to buy now or miss out forever. Private exchange centers are giving 10x returns." Be cautious. These are classic red flags. Legitimate currency changes are public, transparent, and covered by major financial news outlets. They don't happen in secret, and you won't need to dig through Telegram groups or obscure websites to find the truth. Looking at the numbers. Let's put things in perspective with real numbers. 1 million Iraqi dinars today is worth around $700, $800 USD. For the dinar to reach 1 IQD equals 1 USD, Iraq's economy would need a complete transformation: fiscal reform, political stability, economic diversification, and more. Likewise, 1 million Vietnamese Dong equals roughly $40 USDC today. A jump to $2 or $3 per Dong would represent a 5,000% increase, one of the largest ever seen in modern finance. While not impossible, these kinds of dramatic shifts are extremely rare and typically occur under unique historical circumstances, like post-war recoveries in Germany or Kuwait. Importantly, those currencies recovered because of temporary wartime disruption, not weak economies or structural issues. Iraq and Vietnam face very different challenges. What's really happening in 2025? There have been real developments this year that continue to fuel optimism, but they don't confirm a revaluation is imminent. In Iraq, the central bank is working on digitizing services and reducing cash dependency. Government officials occasionally hint at strengthening the dinar, but no formal revaluation plans have been announced or endorsed by global institutions like the IMF. Oil revenue continues to be the main economic driver, but broader reform is still slow. In Vietnam, trade agreements are expanding. Digital banking and fintech are growing fast. Currency reforms are being discussed, but again, no drastic changes are confirmed. Both nations are making moves, but neither is on the verge of a massive overnight currency reset. The scam factor. Unfortunately, where there's hope, there are also scammers. Some investors have been lured into buying from redemption centers or VIP exchange programs that promise exclusive access to higher rates or inside deals. Be very careful. If someone pressures you to act quickly, offers unverified insider tips, or asks for your currency without proper documentation, walk away. Real investments don't require secrecy or urgency. Always verify licenses, check for financial regulation, and avoid anything that seems too good to be true. What should you do if you hold IQD or VND? If you already own these currencies, you're not alone. Here are some questions to ask yourself. 1. Why did I invest? Were you hoping for a short-term windfall or prepared for a long-term hold? 2. What's your risk tolerance? Can you afford to wait potentially years or forever without seeing returns? 3. Do you have a clear plan? Will you sell if there's a modest gain? Hold out for bigger changes. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. Just make sure your decisions are based on facts, not rumors. Smart strategy. In 2025, diversify and educate. No matter how hopeful you are about IQD or VND, don't put all your financial eggs in one basket. Wise investors spread risk across a mix of assets, stocks, bonds, precious metals, real estate, and even crypto. That way, even if a revaluation never happens, your overall portfolio can still grow. And most importantly, stay informed. Follow economic reports, central bank updates, oil trends, inflation data, and legitimate financial news. Build your strategy on knowledge and patience, not internet hype. Final thoughts. Hope is not a strategy, but it can fuel. Many people holding dinar or dong are driven not by greed, but by hope. Hope to pay off debt, support their families, or change their lives. That's understandable, but hope must be grounded in reality. The truth is, both the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong are legitimate currencies with potential, but they're not guaranteed tickets to overnight wealth. Anyone telling you otherwise is likely selling something or setting you up for disappointment. Be smart, be careful, be informed. That's how real wealth is built, not through speculation, but through strategy, discipline, and time. What's your view? Do you believe the IQD or VND could rise significantly in 2025? What's your strategy? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this article helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll keep bringing you honest, factual updates so you can make confident decisions. Stay sharp, stay hopeful, and most of all, stay grounded.